we get the right kind of pronunciation. Okay. So the written mode, of course, later we have the publishing. Once the printing press has been invented, we now have published sources where in the printed form one has books and things like that. So the oral part, even now, in spite of having the Vedic text in written form, it is inevitable, and we cannot substitute that with the written form. But it is helpful for reminding, helpful for sharing, etc. The biggest advantage of writing is it will be there even after the speakers are gone. Okay. So that was the advantage in writing it, but there could be missing interpretations or some kind of doubts arising, etc. So nothing like having a person in front, in flesh and blood, to learn. Okay, so gathering or figuring out Vedic knowledge from lost sources, this is the other point that was written. Oral sources, it is very difficult to make out, but as per our Shastras, it is possible that there will be in future also some kind of revival of this knowledge in cycles. So maybe after a few hundred years, when it reduces too much, then there will be some great personality coming up, reviving the whole thing to the next cycle. From the written sources, of course, this is possible. You have the original text, you have the commentaries, you have sub-commentaries. There are also treatises written called Prakarana Granthas. From them one gets the knowledge. So the Vedic knowledge is predominantly oral. Yes, in the last few centuries we have them in the written form. In written form also, yes, the first priority is given to the palm leaf manuscripts, where a lot of care is taken and a lot of information is packed in. But it takes special efforts to learn, understand how to use that. I don't know this, it is not coming up anyway. I just kept this on. Let us just see if this comes. It has come now. Yeah, so you press on this, you now have the manuscript name here. You are all able to see the screen, right? I'll take any of them. Say, for example, Avarni, Vyakya, Ningam, Anta, Pradipika, these are the names of the text. One particular text, all of you can go through, it has a number of varieties. Actually, there is one text called Shadvimsati Sutra here. Okay, so I collected about 35 manuscripts of the same text. A very small text, but we have a lot of variety from different libraries, different regions, different scripts, etc. The same text is written in 8 different scripts, as we have in these images here. So first is you select the text. Then after you select the text, it starts loading from which all libraries we have images for this. We have the manuscript images for this text. Okay? I think the network speed may be slow, but as soon as connection has failed, it is saying. Otherwise, anyway, what I will do is I think it came again. There is some maybe kind of bandwidth issue or Adventure Sutra is what I have selected. Because after each selection, it has to go through the database and then load the relevant information. So it is waiting for that just a message we have. Let just load the list of libraries from where we have this. You can see the help on the top in the same page. Once more, if it doesn't work, I'll look for some presentation itself. I think then presently I'll use the PowerPoint. Yes. So this is how the series. Of course, this was written in Sanskrit. This was for the project called Tarksha. Yeah, what it has is Sanganikiya Prakriya Veda Shastra Pandulipinam Vishaye Samskrita Madhyamena Sarvaihi Nisulkam Jnana Prashikshanadikrite Upayoktam Parikara Kalpanam. It's basically for the postgraduate students in the Sanskrit universities. We have prepared this. It's through MHRD funding. Yeah, now what it has is, it has got two purposes. One is to train people, second is to publish things out of such a software. This has got a facility with an editor, so you can, if you have an unpublished manuscript with you, you scan that, you can load the image in the application. There is a way of updating to the database. Then there is also an editor window where one can type out, or if the text is already available with us, we have hundreds of texts already there in our knowledge base in the earlier application that you saw, then we can load from there also. If we have a text already, then all that we have to do is match whether this particular manuscript has the same reading as the book that we have. Okay. So once that is done, we can do this for any number of versions and then compare them, make a critical edition, etc. These are the kind of advantages. Okay, so we have also tried this in some Gurukulas and one or two institutions like Tirupati Vidyapita and such places. It's found useful, and in Bangalore also there is one institution for Ayurvedic research. So some students are now doing their MTech, MPhil, PhD kind of research, publishing new manuscripts of Ayurvedic text, and then there again it's being used by people there. So yeah, this is giving some detail about how this works or what are the features, kind of thing. Yeah. Andalupinam Vishaye Udbodhaitum Visheshajnaha Mataka Nirmana Pratikritikara, this is a mistake. Pratikritikara Tad Rakshana Upayan Tebhyaha Gantha Sampadanaadi Vishaye Prachita. We have some of the lectures by Dr. V. Krishnamacharya from Pondicherry French Institute, and Dr. Nagasampige of Bangalore, Purnapati Vidyapita, Hanumantra from Calcutta, etc. This is the kind of flow chart which tries to tell you how this software actually works. It tries to create a database first, and then from the database start loading. And of course, there are also some good bibliographies we have tried to show related to Vedic text. If you see here, for example, how many manuscripts we collected for the single book called Sadvinchiti Sutra, 2 from Adyar Library Madras, 4 from Government Oriental Manuscript Library again Madras, then 3 from Venkateswara Oriental University Tirupati, and 1 from Ujjain, 1 from Vadodara, 2 from Hoshiarpur, 6 from Thiruvananthapuram, 1 from Pune, 4 from Vai, 2 from Mysore, etc. So one can collect multiple varieties, multiple scripts and multiple types. Some of them have commentary, some have only text, etc. Totally at this time it was 34, and after this I collected one more from Kanchipuram and it became 35. Okay, so we have also, if you see the scripts, for example, Granthalipi, Devanagari, Telugu, Malayalam, Nandanagari, etc. Kannada also we later collected. And some of them have with accents. Eka Saswara, Rajya Pathshalayaha, that is in Devanagari. We also have with accents in Grantha in some manuscripts. Of course, through 2 books were also used. Okay. And how somebody uses this for study, etc. I have shown some examples here. So this is the way of trying to see that we can benefit from the written modes. This site, I am not sure why this is not loading, but at least at your leisure, please go through this site to get the feel of this. I don't know whether the database link has failed. I'm able to select, and after that it actually crashes or whatever. They are not clear. Once more we will try and see if it is working. Fine. So the written modes, I have concentrated on the Palmolive manuscripts related to Vedic knowledge, because still many more manuscripts are not yet publicized. They have not been read, they have not been understood. So new knowledge is waiting for us to be understood, utilized. Okay. But one of the bibliography I showed in the PPT is by one Professor Parameswar Aital. Okay. He is in Germany nowadays, and from there he published this bibliography. I think at that link there is some problem. Okay, so yeah, in this, if you can, yeah, this book, Veda Lakshana, Vedic Ancillary Literature, a descriptive bibliography by K. Parameswar Aital. This has about 1,800 texts, most of which are yet to be published, and these are in the manuscript form. He has listed at least around 15,000-20,000 manuscripts. This is how it runs. He gives the name of the text, Sadvinchiti Sutra here. 62 manuscripts are listed by him. And among them, maybe 35-40 were there within the country, and I collected most of them. Okay, this is how somebody can proceed. This is also included in the flowchart that I was showing earlier. I will share this PPT also for you people to read, so that this can stand in for some portion what we could see from the website. Okay, but any day, of course, once the server is up, we should be able to see much more detail. So this is on the item 2, gathering or figuring out Vedic knowledge in large sources from the available oral and written sources. So the manuscripts are the major sources, and even now, Shastras also, of course, Vedas there are lots which are not yet published. In Ayurveda also there are many manuscripts which are yet to be read. Okay. We also had in Manipur, in the northeast area, about 3,500 manuscripts related to Siddha medicine. And no one knows how they landed up there, but they are now slowly being catalogued in the National Mission for Manuscripts. And after that, maybe some scholars can, students and researchers can get into taking important ones and then using such software and see that we can bring them out, then new knowledge will be available. Then, yeah, this is about the discussion around oral and written was written. So, this part I am covering. I have not had much first-hand knowledge of what Sri Aurobindo's view is, and Dayananda Saraswati's view was also to be discussed. I have skipped that again for the simple reason we generally know the views that the Adhikara was conservatively restricted in the Sanatana Dharma method, whereas Arya Samaj wanted it to be open for all, including ladies. They have no problem on that. That is one kind of view. Similarly, Aurobindo's view is that Vedas are fully symbolic. They need not simply mean physically conducting a yajna or the performance alone. It can still be a symbolic one, and then it can be at the knowledge level. So there are different ways of looking at about Vedas. Sanatana Dharma view is, yes, Vedas have their own angas and they benefit a person through practice. As much as knowledge is useful, equally Anusthana or practice also is useful. So between Jnana and the Kriya or the Karma part, there is Sama Samuchaya, Vishama Samuchaya, only one of them, different Pakshas. Okay, so different people stand on different levels at that, and it's important to know there are different ways Vedas have been looked at and traditions have come up based on such thinkers. So after that, 4th we have covered, item 4 fully. 5th, of course, we have talked about the technology or science and technology of Yajna is that it is applicable elsewhere. It is a kind of template for various kinds of aspects of life. Then classification we saw, Nitya Naimittika Kamya, then Shantika Paustika also. Among the Vedangas, I covered Shiksha and Chandas, Shiksha and Vyakarana in good detail last time. Chandas, of course, we did not. Yeah, Chandas, if the site had come up, this has all the, there is a little, I didn't maybe check it out earlier, or maybe we could have asked someone from IIC. The server, if it has any problem, we could have seen. This application works, let us go through. Yes. So, the Vidyasthanas, we have the Vedangas. Among the Vedangas, yes, Chandas is one, where we have the Chandas Sutras. Okay, this is various Adhyayas, 1 to 18 Adhyayas are there about the Chandas. Maya Ratasa Jabhanalaga Samhidam Brahmati Vangmayam Jagati Yasya. A Maharshi called Pingalanaga, he is said to be the brother of Panini. He is the Sajayati Pingalanaga Shivaprasada the Siddhamati. He wrote the sutras for Jyotisha. It has 2 portions. First portion deals with the Vedanga Jyotisha, Chandas used in the Vedas. The second part is the Laukika Chandas also. In all it has 284 sutras. The initial 100 odd sutras relate to Vedic Chandas. Then of course the Laukika Chandas also. And he divides them into Ganas. Three syllables, 3 aksharas are called a Gana. So within them there are 8 kinds of variation he makes. Magana, Yagana, Ragana, Rasana, Sagana, Tagana, Jagana, Bhagana, Nagana. These 8, Maya, Rasata, Jabhana. This of course also has been studied a lot from the mathematical point of view. It is a very good way of psychically putting things in the most brief way, the most concise way possible. It is also known sufficiently in the Kavya Nataka field also. Sahitya Shastrajnas also require Chandas to analyze slokas. So these Ganas, Magana, meaning Trigurum Vidhi Makaram, that is how we begin. Magana has got all 3 vowels if they are Guru. Guru meaning If they are dirghas, they will be guru, or a hrasva followed by a sanyukta akshara will be a guru. So Panini said, hrasvam lagu, sanyoge guru, dirgham cha. So hrasva is always lagu. Hrasva followed by a sanyukta akshara, a conjunct consonant, makes that hrasva itself become guru. All dirghas are guru. Okay. So from this point of view, if guru, 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 these three letters continuously have guru, then they are called, it is called magana. Similarly, laghu madhyamam to refam. Laghu adi samanvitam yakarakhyam. Yagana is, first is laghu, then guru. Laghu, guru, guru is lagana. Of course, they go cyclically, so it is much easier. You can try to understand simply. Then laghu madhyamam to refam. Ragana is guru, laghu, guru. Then jagana, ubhayoho laghu vijaniyat. Laghu, guru, laghu, that is the way. So this is how he first defines gana, and with the combination of gana, the chandas is defined. Gayatri, Tishtup, Jagati, Anushtup, etc. Number of chandas are divided. And their subdivisions are also given, how many padas, each pada, how many letters, what kinds of letters, etc. So this is the science of metrics and prosody. This gives the rhythm in recitation. So chandas padavtu vedasya. Among the Vedangas, chandas is the pada, which gives the gati for, that is, it becomes sonorous, very pleasant to hear, because of the modulation that is caused by these different ganas. So chandas is by Pingalanaga, and we also have manuscripts of Chandas Sutra Bhashya. Famous Bhashya. So they are also available as manuscripts. So in the manuscript editor, I just need to figure out why there is an issue. So once I get back, maybe I'll mail to Dr. Sai. If there is any issue, I'll get it rectified in ISC. You people please go through. In the manuscript editor we have, we can also select it by Vidyasthana. So we can select by each Shastra. It gives the list saying, okay, this is from Veda, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, similarly, Shiksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, etc. Manuscripts are chosen from each of these domains, and then in different scripts, kind of thing. So that could be seen. So Chandas part, the contemporary knowledge, of course, it has the beginning of mathematics, particularly the permutations, etc. You have the basic sets of the ganas, but then different permutation combinations give rise to number of chandas. Vedic chandas are 66 variations recorded by Pingala in his Chanda Sutra. Because he has also given some labels. If you find some mantra which has some different number of letters in different padas, then how to name it or how to understand. For that, he has given some methodology. So that way, this covers the combinations possible. And of course, the binary number calculations also. It began with Chanda Sutra, is being shown by many mathematicians. Origin of zero, of course, this Laghu Guru kind of thing, they begin with, of course, if you divide the number of letters of a pada of a sloka or mantra, then based on the remainder, we keep working. So this basically is helpful right from the concept of zero, then having different permutations, combinations. In general, of course, Chandas is said to be the precursor of all the combinatorics that we all learn today, whether in computer science, mathematics, or even logic. So Chandas Shastra has that. The original context was protection of Vedic mantras, but it also has a spin-off. It has a side effect of creating a lot of inputs for various other contemporary knowledge also. Vyakarana, of course, I have covered. We saw in good detail Panini's Sutras, the Adhyayas, the arrangements, etc. There also, of course, the contemporary use was given is original context was Raksha, Uha, Agama, Laghu, Asandeha, Prayojanam. To protect the Vedic text without any distortion, understanding them well, the processes of their analysis, what is the base, what is the suffix, etc. That was the initial, original context. The contemporary context, of course, is all of linguistics, morphophonemics, then syntactic, semantic analysis. All kind of linguistic processes are now helped by insights got from Panini's grammar. So similarly, the next Vedanga is Nirukta. Nirukta again was the protection of the meanings by derivation. Out of the 6 Vedangas, there are 3 purposes. One is about retaining the form of the Vedic mantras. This is done by Shiksha and Chandas. Shiksha helps us seeing that the same letter, same pronunciation without change is carried on. Chandas, of course, to see that the letters are not interspersed, you have the same meter. These two, Chandas and Shiksha help in protecting the form of the Vedic text. About the content, we have the Vyakarana and Nirukta. Vyakarana is at the level of language, at the level of padas, vakyas kind of thing. Whereas the Nirukta is about deriving the basic letter itself. Every vowel consonant represents some meaning, and from there one can build up the meanings of each word. Okay. So that is at times also is called as etymology. Today, of course, one of the contemporary purposes would be origin of many contemporary linguistic ideas, etymologies. That is, you want to coin a new word. In Sanskrit it is easier, simply because we have the basic roots, then we keep applying suffixes to get the functional meaning that we want. So the etymological part is one of the applications of Nirukta Shastra. Then of course theories of origin of words, noun, verb roots, etc. Then multiple interpretations again. Nirukta also gives rise to the same word can be derived from different roots and different suffixes. So it allows us a lot of richness in expression. If a Kavi is there, he has some experience, he would like to put it across, it may be very simple, plain, literal way of saying something, or it could be also hidden meaning, where one has to put in a lot of exercise to see why did they say something, or what are the other words in the sentence which can denote something, etc. So that way, the theories behind interpreting same expression for different meaning also comes from Nirukta. Today we have Nirukta of Yaska, which is very popular. Though not the only Yaska, only Nirukta, there seems to have been many other texts of Nirukta written by various other rishis. Today what is available extensively is only Yaska's Nirukta. Yaska himself refers to earlier Niruktakaras. He has also given various processes how people have interpreted Vedic words at multiple levels, multiple layers. Like it could be at the level of Adi Bhautika or Adi Daivika or Adhyatmika. So at different levels, same words lend themselves. So the processes are explained in this important Vedanga. So this is the science of derivation of meanings of every Vedic letter. And of course, it also is used in hermeneutics kind of things today. That is, when people want to analyze the meanings of knowledge content of various texts for which the speakers are not available in front of us, then we can proceed through different theories that are derived in Nirukta. Then the next Vidyasthana Vedanga is Kalpa. Kalpa was basically the description of how yajnas are performed. That was the original context. And today, of course, it can also be used for understanding, let us say, the geometry, trigonometry kind of mathematical aspect. Because in the Vedic context, no one uses measuring instruments, but very precise dimensions are required in the Vedika. It is done only with the help of, you have a kind of nail, kind of, it's called Shanku. You just, put it up in the center, tie a thread to that, only use this thread for every kind of geometrical shapes, whether it is square, rectangle, circle, ellipse, etc. Hyperbola, various shapes are required in the yajnas, but all of them are done through this cord or a single rope. That is called Shulba. So Sanskrit, the word Shulba actually means measuring by a thread or a rope, a small string. So the Shulba Sutras are definitely helpful for us today to understand well about geometry, trigonometry kind of thing. And of course, pi also is derived in the Indian system through the Shulba Sutras only. Bodhayana Shulba Sutra is said to be the oldest, which gave very accurate value for the ratio of pi, the ratio of circumference to the radius of circumference to the diameter of a circle, 3.14 what we use today. It has been given up to 32 digits in a Sanskrit sloka, and simply through using this thread itself. So it has the basic concepts of contemporary knowledge related to geometry, mathematics, etc. The next Vedanga is Jyotisha, that is astronomy. The astronomy, of course, today the world acknowledges Indians very long ago were very accurate in their astronomical predictions, particularly about eclipses, etc. That means they were aware of the different planets, their movements, their interrelationships, and this is done only because yajnas are to be performed, different aspects of yajna at different precise timing. And to understand those timings, one had to just observe nature and then decide the time. Without a clock, without any external help, just by looking at the different planets. Maybe in the daytime, sun is used, the shadow is used, its length is used. The night, of course, moon if it is there. Otherwise, all stars divided into those 27 constellations. With them, very precise measurements were made. So, in fact, the Vedanga Jyotisha is by a Rishi called Lagadha. He mentions in the Vedanga Jyotisha in the beginning. You can see in this. What I was saying about. Sorry. Okay. We could have also just. Nirukta text is available here. What I was talking about. Yaskas Nirukta. Samamnaya, Samamnataha, Savyakhyatavyaha, like that. Okay, so, there is a Nigantu also, a lexicon of Vedic words with accents, and these have this meaning. Like today's Amarkosha, Vedas used this. For example, Gauhu, Gma, Jma, Kshma, Ksha, Kshama, with accents. These mean, okay, initially all these words mean Prithvi kind of thing. So, Iti Prithivyaha. So, there are 21, Ekavamsati, Prithvi Namadheyani, like this. Hema, Chandram, Rupam, etc. for gold and things like that. So, in 5 chapters, 15, Hiranyanam, Panchadasha, Hiranyanamani, like this. So, with Swaras, Vedic words can be understood with a dictionary help plus deriving through a process of expression, how all different experiences can be expressed. This is what was the Nirukta portion. The Kalpa, of course, I was telling you about the Sulba Sutra. Quite a few Sulba Sutras we have in this, Apastambhas, with 2-3 commentaries also. So these help us at different levels how to do the measurements without using any measuring instruments like today. Okay. So this is then Jyotisha portion. Yes. This is in 2 versions we have. One is for the Rigveda, other is for the Yajurveda. It is in the sloka form, and 35 and 44 slokas, that is what we have. The Yajurvedic version has 44 slokas. So here he begins with saying, Pancha Samvatsaramayam, Yuga Jaksham Prajapatim, Dina Rutu Ayana, Masangam, Pranam Mishirasa Shitihi, etc. The Jyotisham Ayanam Kritsam Pravakshyami. This is called Jyotisham Ayanam. Jyotisha actually is following the movement of the different planets, the stars, etc. So, Jyotishamayanam Chakshuhu, this is the eye of the Veda Purusha. The Vedanga actually meaning the different limbs of our body, whatever they help they render to the person. Similarly, for the Veda as a Purushakriti, this Veda Purusha is thought of. Then at different, like his feet are Chandas, his mouth is Vyakarana, his ears are Nirukta, so his hands are Kalpa, and his eyes are the Jyotisha. So, Jyotishamayana Chakshuhu, that is, Vedahi Yajnatsam Abhipravurtaha, Vedas are meant for performing Yajna, Nirdishta Kala Prabhavascha Yajnaha, the Yajnas have to be performed at predetermined timings, okay. So, Kala Vidhana is important, how to know the time. So, Tasmat Idam Kala Vidhana Shastram, this Jyotisha is the Kala Vidhana Shastra. So, Jyotisham Veda Saveda Yajnan. That is what he said. So, if somebody knows the Jyotisha well, then he knows Yajnas well, then he also knows the purpose of Vedas well. Okay. Here we have Vedahi Yajnarsam Abhipravurtaha Kalanupurva Vihitascha Yajnaha Tasmadidam Kala Vidhana Shastram Yo Jyotisham Veda Saveda Yajnan. So, that is how he ends this. So, the purpose of this, he also says, Yatha Shikha Mayuranam Naganam Manayo Yatha Tadvati Vedanga Shastranam Jyotisham Murdhani Sthitam. He says, like the peacocks, they have their, the tuft kind of thing, the shikha on the head, that gives the beauty to the peacock. Shikha Mayuranam Yatha. Similarly, the cobra kind of snake, they have the money in their heads. Naganam Manayo Yatha. Similar to that, among the Vedanga Shastras, among the 6 Vedangas, Tadvati Vedanga Shastranam, Jyotisham Murdhani Sthitam, is there on the head. Literally it is there on the head in those cases. Similarly, it stands above every other, or it is the supreme Vedanga. So, this is the Jyotisha part, which of course is today acknowledged. Indian astronomy was far ahead of its times. So from this now we have, today we can also use it for many of the astronomical or meteorological calculations. And some 2 methods were there. One is by looking at them, that is called the Drig Ganita. The other one was Vakya Ganita, calculations through various formulae, but they are all given in Sanskrit, they are all given in a sutra form. So the Vedangas part, yeah, I have at least not to miss something. Yes, today I have tried to cover the Chandas, Nirukta, Kalpa and Jyotisha. So the contemporary knowledge is what makes it more interesting today. Though this is understood today in a different level, maybe tomorrow it improves, etc., etc. But thousands of years ago, the Maharshis had the foresight, the vision that in future what will all be helpful. Something that is written not only for the times at which it is written, but for universal usage. That is when it gets a lot of acceptance and appreciation. And that is how Vedas and Vedangas have been the source of knowledge for all kinds of human endeavors. The next item given is item number 6 in the syllabus, Vedartha Darshanas, okay? Purvamimamsa and Vedanta. Actually, Darshana is another concept. What we now have classified here is the Vedas, Vedangas, Upangas. If you see in this website here, one way of classification is Vedas, Vedangas and Upangas. Upangas cover Mimamsa, Nyaya, Dharmashastra and Puranas. Vedangas are these 6, Shiksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha and Kalpa. Okay, now, Vedas are 4 anyway we have seen. The other way of classifying knowledge is Darshanas. The Darshanas meaning there have been great thinkers who could see by themselves. They had Sakshatkara of various Tattva and then try to teach the lesser mortals. That is Tattva, Hita and Purushartha. These are 3 items that are explained in any given Darshana. The relationship between human beings, nature, various elements, etc. And this is about the Tattva part. Second is how to utilize them for the benefit of all. That is called Hita. Hita also means sadhana or upaya, the procedure of benefiting. So the Hita involves learning, applying, teaching, using it for various purposes, benefiting the whole of mankind. So Tattva, Hita. Third is Purushartha. Purushartha also means the phala or the result. Why do we want to study? It is to become clear in ourselves, to be free of misconceptions, and to be clear to see we are able to get solutions whenever there are problems faced in life. Okay? So this Tattva, Hita, Purushartha, in 3 categories, when the knowledge is codified, it becomes a Darshana. Shastra may not have this, like Vyakarana does not about Tattva, Hita or Purushartha. It talks about how to understand words, synthesis and analysis of words. Similarly, Nirukta has its purpose. So between Shastras and Darshanas, it's a kind of reorientation or reorganizing based on the functional or the purpose related aspect. So we have Darshanas are of 2 categories basically, Astika Darshanas and Nastika Darshanas. One need not accept the existence of Atma, Paraloka, Daiva, etc. Still one can have Darshana. So those Darshanas are called Nastika Darshana. There are also Darshanas which are accepting Vedas, Punarjanma, Atma, maybe Ishvara, etc. So in such cases they are called Astika Darshanas. All the same, Darshanas do have these 3 kind of aspects to be accounting for various phenomena somebody encounters in life. So Darshana Shastras are more powerful, more useful, and that is one of the reasons even from the Shastra division as Vidyasthanas, their culmination generally happens into the Darshana stage, so that you have some kind of course, religion follows after that. There are different kinds of people having different faiths and then trying to say, this is the ultimate to be achieved and this is how to achieve this, etc. So, the Tattva Hita Purushartha kind of putting things into this kind of a system makes generally a Darshana, and there are 6 Astika Darshanas called Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa and Vedanta. So we have tried to list them here. They are also called Shat Darshanas in that sense. There are also 6 Nastika Darshanas, Jainas, Bauddhas, Charvakas, they also have their own Darshana. They don't believe in Vedas, they don't believe in Atma or maybe Punarjanma, they don't believe in Ishvara kind of. But still, yes, they have their own explanation for the universe, the way someone can interact with nature kind of. So Darshanas in general, Darshana Shastras are in general 6 among the Astika list, which of course is listed in the syllabus here. He has begun with Mimamsa and Vedanta, good enough. Mimamsa and Vedanta deal with understanding Vedic meanings. Okay. Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika directly don't deal with interpreting Vedic text. Mimamsa and Vedanta directly deal with text of the Vedic Shakhas and of course give a system of Tattva Hita Purushartha out of that. The Purva Mimamsa is just Mimamsa. Mimamsa generally refers to the Purva Mimamsa or Karma Mimamsa. There, Dharma, Artha, Kama, these three Purusharthas are predominantly talked about. Moksha is the fourth Purushartha, and Moksha is dealt with in the Vedanta Darshana. Okay. So, two Darshanas relate to the Vedartha Nirnaya for the four Purusharthas of Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Dharma, Artha, Kama together are called Trivarga, a group of three. And these Trivarga Phalas are dealt with in the Mimamsa Darshana. The Sutrakara there is Jaimini. Okay, suppose, here itself we have their equivalents in the Upanga also. When you go to the Mimamsa here, we can get the full detail. There, Vedanta is not separate Vidyasthana. So, Vedanta will figure as Putra Mimamsa there. The Purva Mimamsa, if you see here, then this is the Jaimini Sutras. Jaimini is the Rishi who wrote the Sutras for the Purva Mimamsa. Vyasa wrote the Sutras for the Brahma Sutras or the Uttara Mimamsa. Okay. So, the Darshana classification also has, the texts may be common, they are related in both ways, as Shastras among Vidyasthanas or as Darshana Granthas. Okay. So, Mimamsa and Vedanta is listed here. The original context and the so far identified contemporary knowledge aspects. Mimamsa original context is interpretation of Vedic text towards Dharma and applying, that is getting Dharma, achieving Dharma through Yajnas. Yajna is the main focus there. The Karma Kanda is also called Karma Kanda because through the Agni's Puja, Agni's Paricharya, one gets all the Dharma, Artha, Kama. Okay, that is how Yajnas are performed through Agni. And all the Agni Karyas, the Yajnas are explained in the Purva Mimamsa. Now the contemporary knowledge of course is, there is a very elaborate system of knowledge representation, knowledge understanding, decision making, etc. So because of that, Mimamsa is very relevant today. Though we do not have many Mimamsakas available today, this is one of the very useful Shastras. Okay. So the method of exegesis, word meanings, they undergo changes over a period of time. Then during Vedic times, something meant something. Today maybe some are not understood. See, there are different dhanyas to be used in the yajna. Today some are not even possible to be traced. We are not able to get at what is actually meant by that. Because today that word is not in use. And today's word being used, we are not able to map them to some of the Vedic text. So then there are some methods given of finding their equivalents, etc. That process in English, of course, they call exegesis. Mimamsa helps in the methods of exegesis. And then interpretative technique. That is, if there are multiple interpretations possible, then the priorities between them, how to decide, that has been in very great detail explained in Mimamsa. An approach of Vedic linguistic cognition, knowledge organization, etc., knowledge management, knowledge organization. In fact, there is a word called epistemology which says study of knowledge. Study of knowledge is called epistemology. Generally, Mimamsa is the epistemology of the ancient Indians. It has how to classify knowledge, how to organize, how to utilize that knowledge to come up with decisions among when there is a doubt or when there is multiple possibilities, etc. So that part is helpful even today in knowledge management, knowledge organization, etc. It is, you can have a proper ontological arrangement of concepts, then among them epistemologically go through which is the source of knowledge, what is the object of knowledge, and what is the relationship, etc. Okay, so this is on the Mimamsa. Vedanta, of course, except the Phala. In the Vedanta, the Purushartha is only moksha. We are not worried about results in this world. It's only about liberation of realizing one's own innate potential. So, interpretation of Vedic text towards Brahma and Moksha is the original purpose of the Vedanta Darshana. Today, of course, it can be useful, even the Vedic psychology. That's what he has written. It could be applied to many other fields, not necessarily only psychology. Even about knowledge per se, knowledge of a very high order where universal benefit is required, Vedanta is useful. Then other Vedika Darshanas he has made, item number 7. The second pair is Nyaya and Vaisheshika. So, Nyaya and Vaisheshika together, they deal with the metaphysics angle. Metaphysics is basically to decide which is the source of knowledge and which are the objects of knowledge. The two in Indian language, Sanskrit words are pramana and prameya. Pramana is the source of knowledge, like pratyaksha is a pramana, anumana is a pramana, Vedas are pramana. Like that, through different sources, either by directly through the senses we get to know, we get knowledge, or through inference we get knowledge, or through word of mouth we get knowledge. So that is how the sources of knowledge are called pramana. And pramana is dealt with in the Nyaya Darshana in very great detail. And in fact, there is one of the best text that is there in the Indian Shastras, Nyaya Sutras of Gautama. Then the Vaisheshika is about the prameya part, that is the physical world, and also of course about Atma. So the living and non-living things which are the objects of knowledge are dealt with in the Vaisheshika Darshana. Vaisheshika Darshana, the sutras are written by Rishi Kanada. We have put in those texts, if they can do, it loads. So we have the Vaisheshika Kanada Sutras into 10. Asatva Dharmam Vyakhyāsyāma Yataha Abhyudaya Nishayasa Siddhiyasa Dharma Tattvacinādam Nāyasa Pramānim. Like this goes. It is in 10 chapters. It has a material science. It has also things to do with the physical world. Whereas also we can, similarly in this Nyaya also we can go through. Nyaya has Nyaya Sutras, this Bhashya, various texts on that, etc. So Nyaya Sutras by Gautama, Vaisheshika Sutras by Kanada, these two, Nyaya Sutram is here. I think we have commentaries and all that. So this is in 5 chapters, Nyaya Sutra. It has of course 2 anhikas in each chapter. So 1.1, 1.2, 2.1, 2.2 like this. You can choose any chapter and go through the sutras kind of thing. So this is how, among darshanas, these are for the logical, metaphysical understanding, properly infer things from what we observe. For that, these 2 shastras are, the original purpose was to help understand the Vedic text when there is a conflict or when there is opposition to 2 different sentences, which one to take as authentic. Then we apply different kinds of nyaya. So as an upanga, nyaya originally was to help interpreting Vedic text. Manu has very clearly said, Arsham Dharmopadeshancha Veda Shastra Avirodhina Yaha Tarkena Anusandhatte Saha Dharmam Veda Na Itaraha. If someone wants to get proper knowledge of Dharma, then one has to use Vedas and Arsham is Veda, Dharmopadesha are the different sutras, Dharma sutras are which is under the Kalpa. So how the Vedas are applied in practice in the Yajna and how Dharma is accruing out of that is explained by the Rishis in the Dharma Shastra. So Veda and Dharma Shastra can be only understood or properly interpreted by those who know Tarka well, who can infer properly, who have the logic to apply. But that should not be at loggerheads with what the Vedas say. Veda Shastra Avirodhina Tarkena Yaha Anusandhatte Saha Dharmam Veda. Only such a person will be able to understand the Dharma well, not others. So the original context of both Nyaya and Vaisheshika was to see that we understand the different objects and the sources of knowledge represented in the Vedic text, and they help in disambiguating if there is a doubt or if priorities are to be known or if there is some exceptions, etc. But the contemporary knowledge today, the entire logical world can benefit through the methodologies presented in these 2 darshanas, Nyaya and Vaisheshika Darshana. So all the syllogisms, in fact there has been a lot of efforts comparing Aristotelian logic and the Indian logic. In IASC also there has been a lot of efforts, in other places also. So the whole idea is to just build a good model of the universe based on the Aristotelian, Plato, Socrates kind of tradition on the one side, and Gautama Kanada and their later the Vartikagaras, Bhashikaras like Udayanacharya and later Vedanteshika kind of people who have enriched this entire subject with contemporary knowledge as and when they encountered special or new problems. So the logical world has a lot to benefit from these 2 darshanas, Nyaya and Vaisheshika. Then we have Sankhya and Yoga. These 2 are more related to the mind and controlling the mind, being at peace, achieving tranquility, etc. Sankhya and Yoga both have, by different means, different ways of prescription, achieve the same thing. Sankhya Yoga generally are taught together, even in Gita. Similarly in the Rasnam also have Yoga Jnanam Tatha Sankyam Vidya Shilpadi Karmacha. Yoga and Sankhya, the difference basically is about whether accepting Ishvara or not. Yoga accepts Ishvara, whereas Sankhya does not accept Ishvara. There are, of course, we can even call them Yoga Siddhanta can be called as Seshvara Sankhya. But Sankhya by default means Nirishvara Sankhya. Only Prakriti and Purusha are accepted. Prakriti is nature, that is the non-sentient matter. And of course, Purusha is the living being, sentient person. The third category is the Ishvara, the controller of these two. So Yoga accepts that, whereas Sankhya, one version of Sankhya does not accept that. But both have contemplation or dhyana as the way of realizing one's own potential and getting rid of bondage in life. So the Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, these 8 angas, they are common to both Sankhya and Yoga. Because the purpose is different, the procedure is different. Okay, now, the original context was from the Vedic knowledge, one achieves peace of mind, tranquility, and of course, the knowledge can transcend time. So that was the initial purpose, like the Sanakadis or the Saptarishis, various rishis who saw the mantra, they had the knowledge of all the 3 times, past, present and future, achieved simply through this yoga or the tapas or whatever we call as dhyana, manana, dhyana, etc. So, Sankhya and yoga from 2 different angles, one accepting Ishvara, one not accepting. And of course, one going into very great detail about how the universe is evolved. Okay, the Sankhya's theory of Prakriti into 24 tattvas is by far the most unanimously accepted explanation for the various evolution of the universe. Yoga, of course, as opposed to this, is internal. We could even call it as external yoga is Sankhya, internal yoga is yoga per se, the Patanjali yoga or Hiranyagarbha yoga. For Sankhya, the preceptor is Kapila Maharshi, Kapila who is the avatar of Lord Vasudeva. The other Yoga Shastra is written by Patanjali. Patanjali again is an avatar of Adishesha, we say. And Patanjali Yoga is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That is what we wrote. We, I think, there is one very rare version of Yoga Sutra that I got. We have put it in this knowledge base. Normally, Yoga Sutras are available in a single chapter with 4 padas. This has a lot of commentary, is very popular. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, that is how it begins. Controlling the mind's movement or mind's waveringness. Okay. So, Dashta Swarupa Avasthanam, and then of course he goes till the Samadhi part, the 8th anga of the Ashtanga Yoga. This is the most popular one, but I was given by a practicing yogi a handwritten text, a manuscript text of yoga text with 4 adhyayas. Okay. We have 1 adhyaya with 4 padas, whereas this is another version. The current version, 1 adhyaya has 195 sutras, whereas this 4th chapter version has 410 sutras in all. And this begins with Athato Yujyate Kriyam, Tadanusasanam Sarvasmin, like that. And we do not know, this is not very popular, but I have put it because this was handed over by a practicing yogi. When I was working in Zedak, Pune, a person was in Mumbai. He came and gave me this text and said, you please propagate this. So we have made this available to people. It also has a lot more interesting information, which is otherwise not there in the single chapter Yoga Sutra. His interest was to know whether this could be by Patanjali himself. It looks like, yes, the language or the description looks like it could be by Patanjali. Here also we have Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, but as the 4th sutra in the 1st chapter here. There are many things that are common and a lot more elaboration is there in this. So together, now Sankhya and Yoga, if we see, they are about controlling the mind of a living being. Okay. So, out of the 6 darshanas then, we had 2 forming a group. Mimamsa and Vedanta darshanas about Vedic text interpretation. Nyaya and Vaisheshika is about the logical, metaphysical way of analyzing the universe, understanding life per se, the various processes and phenomena. The third set, Sankhya and Yoga, is about mind control, achieving peace, equanimity, etc. So the 6 darshanas together with 2 division each like this, they have 3 pairs that way. So the original context was to help the Vedic knowledge and see that is giving us peace of mind, etc. Whereas the contemporary use, as I said, was for each one of them. We can apply them today for mind control, even many of the behavioral changes, etc. We can control things by proper exercises through the Sankhya Yoga on the mind level. Of course, the logic is to benefit a lot from Nyaya Vaisheshika, I said. And textual analysis is helped a lot by Mimamsa and Vedanta. Well, in the list it is also written 7.5. Spota as the seventh Vedic Darshana. This is not accepted as a Darshana per se. Panini never meant he is talking about a Darshana. Spota belongs to the Vyakarana Siddhanta, not Vyakarana Shastra. So, of course, this started with Patanjali's Mahabhashya mentioning about Spota. And later on, of course, the greatest contributor in this field is Bhartrihari, who was, of course, even before Shankaracharya. He has a very great elaboration of Spotavada. But this still does not deal with Tattvahita Purushartha like other darshanas fully. And if someone wants to call it as a Vaidika Darshana, I have no objection, but it is not found in the text that way. But originally it was to see how to get the meanings of a word. What is the process of learning involving? What exactly happens when we say we learn a language kind of thing. So that is dealt with in great detail. Whether the meanings are coming up later after a word is uttered, or are they together, or it is just striking to us, it is innate in us and then something triggers this kind of. This basically Spotavada is about something gets triggered the moment some word is heard. So the meaning is not coming out from external sources, it is inbuilt. The knowledge, the innate knowledge is getting brought out. Okay. Sputam bhavati, vyakti bhavati, that is the way this theory is. Its contemporary knowledge, of course, is helpful today to understand, let us say, the learning process, how children learn languages, first language, second language, third language, etc. Within that, how does somebody understand mathematics, how does somebody understand social sciences, etc. There are different varieties where something is precise, something is clear, visible, but something requires a lot of contemplation, processing, etc. So, I am not otherwise very clear how this becomes a Vaidika Darshana per se. Vyakarana is not treated as a Darshana Shastra, but if Spota comes in, then Vyakarana will have a contribution to Darshana also. Okay. Anyway, since it is written in the list of in the syllabus, I am just commenting on this. Okay. Next, Itihasas, Mahapuranas and Upapuranas as books of knowledge and knowledge aspects of Kavyas. Yeah, Puranas definitely they come under the Vidyasthana, there is no doubt. We have under the Upangas, Dharma Shastra and Puranas, and among them also Itihasas, Ramayana and Mahabharata are called as Itihasa, and the rest of them 18 Puranas, and then of course 18 Upapuranas written by Vedavyasa. So Itihasas, Ramayana is by Valmiki, Mahabharata of course is by Vyasa again, and all Puranas are by Vyasa. Ashtadasha Purananam Karta Satyavati Sutaha, that's what Vishnu Purana says. So, in this, what of course we are interested in is the direct knowledge in non-narrative section, direct knowledge in narrative section, and indirect knowledge in narrative sections, epics and personalities, environmental understanding, etc. So now the direct knowledge is, there are a number of Upadeshas found in the Itihasas and Puranas. The Upadeshas deal with philosophy or theory of life or theory of various aspects. That would be non-narrative. But generally, Itihasas and Puranas are through various narrations, various episodes, through human interactions, a lot of message or morals are taught. That is the basic purpose of the Purana as a Vidyasthana. Whatever is said in the Vedas is to be explained through live scenario. So you create case studies or you study various cases of various philosophical thoughts. Like Ramayana contains a lot of discussion about when, what is Dharma. Okay, now, when Rama had to be sent to the forest because Kaikeyi asked this Vara, Dharma was, Dasharatha was in a big dilemma. He has given word to her earlier, whatever Vara she asked, he will give her. She had reserved that option, now she is exercising that option. So she is not wrong in asking whatever she wants, and Dasharatha is bound to oblige her, acknowledge the help done earlier and then oblige her. But he has another problem. Sending Rama to the forest for no fault of his is not good from running the state or running the country. But his problem now is, which is a better dharma among this? Is there a classification among dharmas, Mukhya and Gauna, Pradhana, Pradhana kind of thing? So in such cases, Ramayana is a good study. Dharma is important. Rama himself comes to the help of Dasharatha saying, don't worry, Nothing wrong will happen if I go to the forest. People will not blame me for something. Once one can understand in what context I went, nothing wrong about it. It's not a punishment. Then I will also continue with my dharma. Here also I would have become dharmishta by not reneging on what you had promised earlier. So such kind of things are explained through a live scenario where the dilemma, the problem is put forth to us in very clear terms. Then the solutions given also become very clear. So this way, it helps in the direct knowledge of concepts through non-narrative sections in Upadeshas, Stotras, etc. In the narrative sections we get direct knowledge, but then we need to map them. We need to link them to the different concepts taught in the Vedas. Okay, so that is how they help the Vedic knowledge. There is also an interactive knowledge in the narrative section about who is described how and what are all the environmental or other social issues that are brought out kind of thing. So this is also to know about contemporary society during various times in different yugas, in different scenarios. So that is also a knowledge worth understanding about flora, fauna. There was a lot of explanations. Ramayana that way is a very, very good example of direct knowledge in non-narrative section, direct knowledge in narrative sections, and indirect knowledge in narrative sections. That is, we have, particularly in the Kishkinda Kanda, first Sarga, if somebody sees, the Pampa Saras is explained in a very, very great detail. Okay? So, in that we have just Kishkinda Kanda, first Sarga is just describing the Pampa Saras, a big lake there, a pond. But 130 slokas Valmiki uses there. Satam Pushkaranim Gatsa Padmotvala Jhashakulam Ramaha Solitra Saita Vilalapa Kulendriya. Then the different emotions Rama expressed there. Now, this is having a list of various trees, their different characteristics and the weather, various other details related to animals, and they are all having a kind of friendly atmosphere, etc. There is a lot more to learn just apart from saying Rama went near this place where there was a big lake which was known as Pampasaras and was very famous. Beyond that, there is a Vyavakirna, Bahuvidehi, Pushvaihi, Hitodaka, Shiva, etc. Naline Representanah, Kata, Atyapsam Shubhadarshanaha, Sarpa Vyalala Charitaha, Mrugad Viju Samakulaha. Like this, he has tried to give every detail about the environment, the ecology, the seasons, the animals, plants, people, etc. So this is again, epics also have the personality details, environmental details, various interactions between human and the nature, etc. So we do get a lot of indirect knowledge also from the narrative sections. Even though there could be a story, the descriptions used, the adjectives used contain a lot of information. We just simply don't say a king with this kind of dressing, this kind of abharanas, ayudas, etc. That also talks about the kind of development in the society at that time. So this itihasas, which is also talk about itihasan, purana, nikalpan, gatha, nara, shakumsi. Vedas also have itihasas and puranas in them. Compared to them, this Vyasakrita, 18 Puranas and Upapuranas are much more elaborate and very vast. But they are to help in understanding the concepts taught in the Vedas in a very clear, usable, applicable manner. So, I don't know this encyclopedic literature, Northrop Frye, he has written. I am not familiar with what this Northrop Frye is. Or maybe that is the author who has written this encyclopedic literature. But we do have, in fact, we did a project on the entire Mahabharata to be computerized in the year 1999-2000. So at that time, we had also included a lot of information along with the slokas were typed out, and then we had the word split, we had their analysis grammatically. We also had a lot of information stored there about names of people, places, things, etc. Similarly, who spoke to whom and that kind of thing. We also marked out different kinds of samvadas, episodes, upakhyanas, etc. So that way, the table of content, if you go through there, you will be getting a lot of information on an encyclopedic literature itself. Mahabharata that way contains anything that could ever be thought of. Idhi hasti tadanyatra, enne hasti natat kvajit. This is the description about Mahabharata. If something is there in the universe, it will be found in Mahabharata. If Mahabharata doesn't have something that doesn't exist. To that extent, it was comprehensive and exhaustive. That is what it means. So we do get such direct knowledge and indirect knowledge, direct knowledge from different sections, narrative or otherwise. So Puranas, Itihas and Puranas, they have a great help in actually practically applying Vedic concepts and living life the Vedic way. Okay. And we also saw in the Yajna, when we saw the other day, life itself is treated as a Yajna. It is told so in the Vedas, and the Puranas show a number of personalities who have lived life like that. Okay. And the last point is about Vyavahara Vide of Kavya, contextual discussions of knowledge aspects. See, the literature also, the classical literature, the Kavyas, or what is called the Sahitya Shastra, it also has number of purposes. One is to achieve something that is auspicious. Second, to ward off something that is evil. And the third purpose is to be worldly wise. Okay, Vyavahara in general means worldly transaction. And someone is wise enough by learning from the Kavyas also, a lot of morals. See, Subhashitas are a very good example. Okay. Many Kavyas contain within them pearls or gems of sayings which can be separated out as, let us say, Subhashita. So, one example maybe we can take, let's say in Raghuvamsha, Kalidasa mentions about there was a king called Aja. Aja was the father of Dasharatha. So, Aja's wife was called Indumati. Now, Aja, of course, they were very ideal couple and then loving each other, they were caring for each other. Now, for some reason, okay, her time is up and then Indumati passes away. And this person, of course, laments. Aja laments on the death of his wife. But the reason for her death, the visible reason for her death was, she was there in the garden, enjoying nature, and some flower garland fell on her. And as though because of that she died, the next moment she was not there. Then Aja thinks, okay, this has caused her death. The garland which fell on her from the tree, that has killed her kind. There, Kalidasa says, of course he was lamenting, saying, now he put that garland on his chest and says, let it also kill me. If this garland is capable of killing my wife, why not kill me also? Swagiyam yadi jivitapaha Hridaye me nihita nahantikim. This is part of his lament. He is sorrow. He is sorry and then his sorrow is expressed through this. If only this is the reason for her to die, the same thing, if it is put on my body, why does it not kill me? This was the statement. This is the second half of the sloka. The first half there, Kalidasa comes up with a gem of a teaching. He is saying, Vishamapya amrutam kochit bhavet, amrutam va visham ishwarechaya. See, Visha can become Amrita or vice versa. Amrita can also become Visha by the Sankalpa of the Lord. Ishwarechaya. This is what he wrote there. If Ishwara Sankalpa is there, a poison will also not kill a person. It will become like Amrita. We have Shiva as the great example. He has Visha in his content, nothing has happened to him. When the Avadhavadana was done, when the Samudravadana was done, first the Visha came up, Halala Visha came up. Then Rudra took this and he has this, he is still called Nilakanta, nothing happened. Simply because, okay, Vishnu who actually did the churning, he offered it to him as Agru Puja, then nothing happened. So, Vishamapi Amrutam Kochit Bhave, Amrutam va Visham. Amrita can also become Visha if the Lord Visha so, will so. Like. There, for the second half, he is now showing this as an example. Ishwarechaya Sragiyam Yadi Jivitapaha. A garland of flowers is never meant to be hostile or harmful to anyone. But in this case, it has so happened that it has become killer for my wife. Now, these are kinds of, when trying to narrate some episode, even in the Kavya, one is also given a good exposure to the dharma or the principles behind. That way, the Vyavahara with a number of cases are there. In fact, in the Magha, Shishupala we can see in the first chapter, Narada comes to visit Krishna in his house in Dwaraka. And then there is a conversation between Narada and Krishna. There, Krishna, of course, he welcomes the Maharshi and then, he does a lot of paricharya, all the upacharas to him because he is a great rishi, very knowledgeable person, and also a great bhakta. Now, Krishna tells him, it's not that every day someone gets to see you, the great sage, Narada. Narada does not go on call. He goes on his own. His movements are just by Ishwarecha. Wherever Lord wants him, he is present there, and then he helps people. So now that you have come to my place, I am now blessed. This is what Krishna says. So, Sharira Bhajam Bhavadiya Darshanam Vyanakti Kalat Triteyepi Yogyatam. He says, for all the three times, past, present and future, all my sins are washed away and I am made pure for all times to come. And all my earlier things are also clear. There he is saying, this is because of the darshana of sadhus. Sadhu darshana is praised so much in the Shastra. Na hyamayani tirthani na devaha mrichilamaya te punanti urukalena darshanadeva sadhavaha. This is there in the Bhagavata Purana. So it says, see, there are great tirthas like Ganga, Kaveri, Yamuna, etc. Various tirthas are there. You go to those tirthas, take bath, all the sins get washed away. Ammayani tirthani, tirthas in the form of water, they purify, but they also take time. Nahi ammayani tirthani na devaha mrichilamayaha. There are a number of kshetras of various devatas in this country, and then each one goes to his Ishta Devata's mandira, prays, and then gets the papas removed. So the tirthas and kshetras, they take time to purify a person. Nahi ammayani tirthani na devaha mriti shilamayaha. The vigrahas could be in various forms. They may be Panchalohamaya, they may be Sudhamaya, they may be Unmaya, Darumaya, etc. made of various materials. So this Mrichilamaya Devaha also take time to clear off the papa. Whereas Darshanadeva Sadhavaha, Sadhu Darshana alone, just by the sight of the Darshana of a great Bhagavata, all the papas are washed away. So Krishna tells Narada, Sharira Bhajam Bhavadiya Darshanam, your sight, your darshana, Vyanakti Kalat Kritayepi Yogyatam. For all times, it makes a person pure and bereft of all negative feelings or durgunas kind of thing. Now, these are brought in as part of a conversation or narration within the kavyas. So, kavyas can also help us. There is one analogy given. Vedic knowledge is like the rule of law. Vedas are called to be Prabhu Samhita, equivalent to a Prabhu or a king. They are not negotiable, but you follow, you get all benefits. No doubts about this. Vidhi Nishedas are, vidhis are to be followed, performed. Nishedas are whatever prohibitions, just one should desist from them. This Vidhi Nisheda Rupa Shruti is like law. Okay, this is like the order of a king. Vedic texts directly are Prabhu Samhita. Then the Vedangas are the Smritis, the Dharmashastras, Purana. They are like Suhrit Samhita. They are like a friend holding our hand and guiding us, giving good consultation, good suggestion, etc. when what to do. So the Itihasa Puranas are in the place of a good friend. The Kavyas are in the place of a beautiful wife. Kanta Samhita. You get good knowledge and how to proceed in life, and then if you follow, of course you become well off. Prabhu Samhita, Suhrit Samhita, Kanta Samhita. So that's the kind of the way it is said. It is not negotiable, it is an order in the case of Veda. It is a suggestion, but well considered, pros and cons properly explained is in the Itihasa Purana. Just an appeal in the case of Kavya. No one forces you to follow something. You are not to take it per se, there is no binding. But you might benefit if you consider that. You can see in the Ramayana also, Tara actually stops Vali to go and fight with Sugriva the second day when he comes saying, "No, what is the mistake of Sugriva? Anyway, he has lamented, he has asked for pardon. We can live together with him, we can all be happy kind of." But she then says, "I cannot force you. As a dutiful wife, I can only tell you, this is what I see is good in future kind of." So the Vyavahara Vidya is basically from the Kavyas one gets in the mode of Kanta Samhita, some good teachings, morals, and then something which can be very effective. Then of course we have the item number 9, Shastra Grantha, a survey. Yeah, Shastra I said earlier, any particular topic is taken, like the words, their formation, their meaning, logic, etc. Each one forms the topic for each Shastra. Now, the Shastras can also be classified from the Purushartha point of view. See, to get Dharma Shastras can be studied. To earn money, etc., or management, administration, etc., Artha Shastra can be studied. To be effective in Kama, there is a Kama Shastra written by Vatsyayana. Vedanta, of course, is a Moksha Shastra. So we have Shastras for Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha individually in great detail. In the form of sutras initially through Maharishi, then of course other explanatory texts and things like that. Every one of them is a worthy pursuit, it's a goal worthy of pursuit, and for pursuing it properly and achieving systematically long-lasting benefits, yes, there are Shastra. So we can have Artha Shastra, Kama Shastra, and of course Dharma Shastra, Moksha Shastra. But Dharma Shastra becomes part of the Vidyasthanas itself, because they are inevitable for the Vedic knowledge. So that was not listed here, I presume. Natya Shastra, Sangeeta Shastra, Alankara Shastra, Ayurveda, Vastu Shastra, etc. Dhanurveda. Actually, there is another subdivision among Vedas called Upavedas. Every Veda has got an Upaveda. So as per that, Ayurveda is an Upaveda for Rigveda, Dhanurveda is the Upaveda for Yajurveda, Sangeeta Shastra or the Gandharva Veda is the Upaveda for Samveda, and of course the Vastu Shastra is for the Atharva Veda. So we have Shastras based on the Upaveda also. So these are called the Shastra Granthas. They have elaborate treatises which explain both the concepts and their applications. Okay. So we have in our site also tried to put many of those things under what are called Prakirnas. Okay. And there are also one notable good site that I see is this Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's University of Management, MUM, kind of, that is the abbreviation. It has a very good classification of text, and then most of the texts are put in. They are there in PDF form, and it is available with the proper classification, the mapping kind of thing given. So one can benefit by such kind of collection. And nowadays, of course, Wikipedia also contains information on various such intricate details that one would like to know from the Sanskrit literature. But of course, we need to also at times check out with the traditional experts to be sure that yes, what we learn is in tune with the Vedic teachings. Okay? So Shastra Granthas, they are of course numerous, and in fact recently there was also a book published on Paka Shastra by a German lady about cookery in the Indian times. Of course this is authored by Bhima among Pandavas and Nala, the other later king. These two are well known cooks in the Itihasas and Puranas. So they have also written down treatises. There is also a lot of Dharma Shastra texts on Ahara Niyama, what all could be eaten, what cannot be eaten. Within them, Satvika, Rajasa, Tamasa Bheda, and in the procedure of cooking, including the vessels used, etc. The way what can go with what, etc. Certain things cannot go with tamarind. Those kind of things are also mentioned. And it also deals with the different prakriti of the individuals. Kapha, Vata, Pitta, etc. For them, what is suitable, which season, what, various kind of things. So the Shastra kind of approach is found across every facet of life in the ancient time. And all of them owe their origin to Vedas. So from that sense, the Indic knowledge base, the landscape is very exhaustive and comprehensive. And we also, of course, have the traditional classification of Indic knowledge systems as Chatushashti. Vidyasthana it is written. It is actually Chatushashti Kalas. Chatushashti means 64. 64 Kalas, of course, that we have somewhere in this year. There is a list of those 64 Kalas which we also put it in with their English equivalents. Okay. I don't know, I should be able to find this. Yeah, otherwise there is one video also of my explaining that whole thing. Maybe that I will share later. It is not found in the Kalas. So these 64 things, they include all arts, crafts, etc. It includes smithy, pottery, kind of thing. It includes metallurgy, geology, gemology, this kind of. So it also includes mimicry, magic, various such things. It also has, wrestling, those kind of things. So there are 64 well recognized, established, and of course well respected vocations, and they are all called as Kala, and there are 64 such Kalas. But Krishna, when he studied with Sandipini in Ujjain, he said, I am a very busy person, I don't have so much time to study in detail everything. I can only stay for 64 days, so teach me one Kala every day. That's what he said. So in 64 days he mastered. Though he is the master, during Avtaras he wanted to show that yes, any knowledge coming through a guru is the one that will be most effective. Like the Upanishad saying, Acharya Daiva Vidya Vidita Sadhishtam Prapate. If Vidya is known through an Acharya, Paricharya, Panipatena, Pariprasthena, Sevaya, the proper systematic way somebody learns from an Acharya, then that knowledge alone will be very effective. Sadhishtam Prapate. There it says, Viryavattaram Bhavati. Yadeva Vidya Karoti, Saddhaya Upanishada, Tadeva Viryavattaram Bhavati. So whatever can be achieved manually has a limit, whereas that through the blessings, through the systematic way of, through a guru, when something is learned, it becomes eternally useful. Then there is another classification he has said, there is a third way of classifying as cleansing method. Yeah, three cleansing sciences model. That is, there are three karanas that we are aware of. One is Sharira, second is Vak or speech, and the third is Manas. So we have Kayena, Vacha, Manasa. So Mano, Vak, Kaya are the three karanas, three modes in which we interact with ourselves, with outside world. So to clean up all these three, cleaning the body, cleaning the speech or the words, and the mind. So the Ayurveda is meant for cleaning of the body. It is maintaining the health of the body. Then Vyakarana Shastra is meant for proper usage of words, right words to be used and right expression of experience. Then the Yoga Shastra is for cleaning of the mind. So there is one text written in all these three modes by the sage Patanjali. So Patanjali is said to be a great rishi for this reason. Yogena Chittasya. He wrote the Yoga Sutras for Chitta Shuddhi. Padena Vacham. He wrote the Mahabhashya commentary on Panini's grammar for Vak Shuddhi. Then Malam Sharirasya Vaidyakena. Sharira Mala to be removed. Then he wrote the Ayurveda Samhita. So from these three, Yopakarot, he removed the, he cleansed down, removed the impurities that could accrue to the body, to the speech or the mind through these three texts in these three Shastras. So Patanjalim Pranjali Ranatosmi. So Patanjali is one common feature for this cleansing aspect, all the three. Okay. So this is one other way of grouping, classifying knowledge. Okay. So the different texts become part of this, and some of course may not be directly coming in, but they have their own contribution in an extended level. Then after this we also have Upanishadic model. That is what we actually have shown you. The Paravidya, Aparavidya. The Aparavidyas contain these 14 Vidyasthanas. Paravidyas are the Brahmopasana. There are 32 kinds of Paravidyas or Brahmavidyas explained in the Brahma Sutra. Vyasa wrote the Brahma Sutra of the Vedanta Darshana. It has 4 chapters and 4 quarters in each chapter. There are totally 16 padas in that. In that Shastra, Vedanta Shastra, 3rd chapter, 3rd pada deals with the different Upasana Vidyas, the 32 Vidyas. Nana, Shabdadi Bhedat is the sutra where it says these are all different. These different qualities of the Parabrahma to be meditated upon, contemplated. So the Upasya Guna Bheda makes Upasana Bheda. Upasana and Brahmavidya or Paravidya are synonyms. Paravidya means Upasana, Brahmopasana, Parabrahmopasana. So the Upanishadic or the Adhyatmic mode is, it is moksha centric. So there Paravidyas do not deal with any external interaction with the world. It is within oneself, one sees the Atma Darshana, Paramatma Darshana. Okay? Whereas the Vedas, Vedangas, Upangas are called as Aparavidya. So in the Mundakopanishad of Atharva Veda, it begins with saying, Pipalada Rishi teaches this to his son Atharva. He tells him, Dve Vidye Veditavye, Paracha, Aparacha. 2 Vidyas, Paravidya and Aparavidya are to be known. So the Aparavidya, Tatra, Apara, Rigveda, Veda, Sam, Veda, Sarvangisam, Siksha, Vyakana, Chandana, Jyotisha, Kalpa, etc. He explains. Aparavidya are these Vedas, Vedangas, Upanga. Then the Paravidya, Atha Para, Yaya, Tad Aksharam Adhigamyate. Paravidya is one which gets us the direct perception of Parabrahma or the Paratattva. Yaya Param Adhigamyate. Etadadreshyam agrashyam agoturnam atikshishtotam apanipadam nityam vibhum sarvagatam susuksham tadavyam bhutayonim paripashyanti dhiraha. Like Kathopanishad also it says, Dhiras are those who see inward. Within them they are able to see the self and the pervading the inner self is the Paramatma Antaryami. So this is the other way of dividing Pravritti Vidya and Nivritti Vidya. Pravritti includes action and involving with the world or the nature. Nivritti is withdrawing from. So Moksha Shastra is the Nivritti Vidya, the Paravidyas. The Aparavidyas are Pravritti Marga Vidyas. That is Trivarga and Apavarga. That is the other way to classify. And other models. There could be many more other models. Different people try to, based on the requirement, group them differently. I also mentioned about the Chaturdasha Vidyasthanas themselves becoming each Chaturdasha, 4 different phases. It is learning, contemplating, teaching, and then practicing. Okay, so this is how Adhiti, Bodha, Acharana, Pracharanaihe, Dashaha, Chatasraha. There can be 4 dasha each for the Chaturdasha Vidya. Those can come under the other models. Then of course the contemporary classification. Today, the modern science classes knowledge as subjective sciences, objective sciences and knowledge sciences. And of course, there are also a lot of subjective sciences even in the modern world. See, even among sciences, you have difference between biology, physics, chemistry, etc. They do not have the same kind of knowledge content. Okay? Certain things are lending easily for observation, analysis and let us say the repeatability. Whereas some sciences do not have that. We can only observe. For example, biology or within that also, let's say botany, if you take, you can observe different kinds of plants. But you will not be able to do much about them. You can't create them or you can't modify them. Whereas, let us say there is a social science kind of thing. How does somebody make it objective? It is not possible to make certain fields objective at all. See, same object or same explanation or same word is understood differently by different people at the same time. What causes this change? This is the subject of study in the social sphere. It's not very easy. The background, various kinds of upbringing, various factors play a role in that. So there are subjective sciences where it may not be universal. It is not similar for 2 different people. Similarly, objective ones again have their own, maybe the conditions to be mentioned along with. But objective sciences are always preferred, no doubt, because they are repeatable. Anytime, any place, anyone would be able to get the similar results or the same results kind of thing. But it is not that all things in life can be only brought into this category. It is not possible. In fact, the objective portion of all knowledge is very little, maybe as low as 10% or so. Knowledge sciences are the other, which is related to how knowledge is acquired, how we share knowledge. Say, for example, doubt also is a kind of knowledge. Then when do you know you have doubt? When do you know you have your doubt clear? Because that also is another kind of knowledge. Knowledge about doubt getting removed, etc. So that is where we have the Nyaya and Vaisheshika Shastras helping us a lot, particularly Nyaya Sutras of Gautama. He deals with this again, Samshaya, Viparya, Anita Jnana, Viparita Jnana, Brahma, etc. So mistaking something as something, etc. So we need different kinds of approach in all these 3 categories of sciences. Subjective sciences have their own way of dealing with them, approach for that. Objective sciences maybe of course are more codifiable, verifiable. Knowledge sciences again are very personal and subjective. Even for the same person at different times, his own moods might change, his own kind of belief system, faith can change. Yeah, this is another way of classification, fine. So knowledge is such a vast thing, it is not possible to be straitjacketed into one or a few sets of groupings. Okay. So with this, I will just try to run through the syllabus given. The last table, of course, is self-explanatory. Contemporary classification, Vedic sciences model is written. Vedic health or wellness science is Ayurveda, yes. Vedic linguistics, language study, Vyakarana, Nirupta also has the language study from various theories angle. Vedic mathematics, because it is found in Chandas, Shilpa Sutra, also found in Vyakarana to some good extent. But we have Professor V. Kannan, his lecture available in this website that I was trying to tell you. We have in the Taksha project, modern mathematical concepts in ancient Vedangas. This is what he has talked about. It's an 1 hour talk with very good presentation. It covers 4 different shastras. Chaturaha, Chaturshu Shastreshu Pashyati. That is what he has written in that. So we have from the different shastras he has tried to show how the mathematical concepts need not be only Vedic mathematics, even contemporary mathematics is available. He has tried to show even the Pascal's triangle kind of them, or differential equations also, where to draw the concepts from the Shastra, Vedangas. Then of course Vedic science of aesthetics, yes, Alankara Shastra. Vedas themselves have a lot of Alankaras. And I had also written some paper earlier about uniqueness of Vedic grammar, so Vedic language. In that I have also tried to show a number of basic Alankaras available in the Vedas themselves. Then Vedic science of logic, Nyaya. Not only logic, it's actually metaphysics. It also describes the universe and then gives the methods of inferring or logically analyzing that. Vedic science of public administration, Arthashastra. It also has economics in that. If public administration does not include, we should specifically say that Artha is directly related to the money aspect. So economics also is the thrust in that Shastra, Kautilya's and many others Arthashastra. Even Kamandike Niti Shastra can also be used in this. Vedic science of psychology, okay? Ideas done from Yoga, Upanishads. Sankhya also has a great to contribute towards the psychological angle, because Prakriti Purusha interaction is dealt with very great detail by them. Vedic science of ethics, because Dharma Shastras are a collection. Vedas have all through, they only deal with Vedo Khilo Dharma Moolam, Akhilaha Veda Dharma Moolam. So Dharma is known, whatever Vedas teach is Dharma, whatever they prescribe is Dharma. So oral, textual and non-textual, found and practice knowledge. Yeah, scope for research. Yeah, this is something, yes, I will take just 2 minutes and wind up this talk. Recently, about 3-4 years ago, we had, under the Karnataka Knowledge Commission, I was participating in one project where we tried to codify community knowledge and practice. This is particularly about the agriculture kind of area. We toured the whole state, went to different kinds of regions. There are 7 regions of Karnataka, they were taken for study. Only about the agriculture angle. See how water is preserved, how seeds are preserved, how soil preservation is done, and different seasons, different places based on whether you have drought condition, whether you have excess rainfall, etc. How the crop patterns are varied, etc. But these are not bookish knowledge. We do not have people who have studied this in any agricultural university. These are regular practical farmers. But from them, by interaction, we could collect a lot of knowledge, which we put it under community knowledge and practice. In fact, many tribals have their own very valuable knowledge systems, which are not yet codified so much. And even in this case, we found from some tribals, it was a very surprising aspect that many of the words used by them are there in the Vedas directly. They have not been used in the Loka today. So there is a skipping of the Shastra level or maybe the Kavyas level. It has directly been preserved in the tradition, in the Vedic tradition or in the tribal tradition or in the communities themselves. So there has been a continuous thread, is something which is quite visible. So it is worthwhile studying. There is a lot of scope for research. Yes, I fully agree. Vedic knowledge systems can be studied through field work. This is possible. In fact, there is a 140-page report that was made out of that. And within that, as one part of it, I also wrote about the palm leaf manuscripts and how people chose the right kind of medium to write, how they live for centuries together, etc. It also forms part of that report. Plus, of course, there are some recommendations how to bring it in the academic syllabus. Okay. Of course, ethnography, yes, this is another thing, it can be studied. Other qualitative research methods. So, I'm sorry, anyway, initially I didn't know for this time restriction of 15 hours. So initially I was a little slow on trying to, of course we did in a little more detail a few things. So anyway, I just tried to say that all topics are touched upon, though not fully covered. And it's a good experience that I have had, and I thank MIT SVS, particularly Dr. Sai, for this opportunity. Maybe when the next course happens, maybe we will do it a little better, I hope. Thank you all, and any interactions, questions, etc. You are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Shiva? Anyone wanting any interactions?
Almost we don't have any questions also.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
was getting some doubt initially, so I waited a few minutes, 2-3 minutes initially.
Yes. Is there anybody having any questions that you can ask directly to sir?
No, right now we I don't have any question.
Okay.
The whole session was very interesting and very helpful. I think we need to go through the sites and literature sir has shown. Probably after that we might have a few doubts. Probably writing email sir would be fine.
See, I have just finished. Any interactions? I am not hearing from the other side. Is anybody talking or something? I am not able to know.
Yeah. Somebody is asking, sir, because they don't have any questions. After going through the entire site, maybe they can ask questions.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, now this is also working. This application, the screen is being seen by people. You could now see what we were trying to get done. Now it is up.
Yes.
Particularly this KUML is the Kerala University Manuscript Library. We had 6 manuscripts from that same library. Each one had different features in that and different script kind of them. Now when I select one of them, see here I am able to even, let us say, choose the leaf number. If you say view the text or image, you will be able to see the images. See, I think the image is visible, okay?
Yes.
Now, this is written in Malayalam script and we have got the text in the editor below in Devanagari. And this is also searchable, okay? Those are the other features.
Yes.
Yeah. So when someone wants any more information, I am available. Except that, okay, formally for the courses, maybe every Friday, Monday afternoon, every Wednesday afternoon may not be there, but any participant willing to or wanting to interact, yes, they are welcome. Okay?
Yeah. After going through the entire site, maybe they can contact you through.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, we can close the meeting then.
Yeah. Thank you.